Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By 10 Forward number 33.
Wow.
Back to the Future, part 3. The Rat... Wait, no. Fuck, 3 Search for Spock.
The Wrath of Khan.
God damn it.
Wow.
A search for
More
Doc?
money.
Yeah, actually.
The search for Doc.
There we go. Perfect.
But also more money.
And he was in the Search for Spock, Christopher Lloyd. So it all comes... It's our 33rd episode. It's Back to the Future 3. Star Trek 3. Great. This is Chris.
This is Ames.
This is Caitlin.
Jake.
Congratulations on remembering to introduce ourselves.
Well, as Jake mentioned last week, for you it's been a week. For us it's been a couple of minutes, so I remember to introduce us, and I'm going to remember to not do an overlong intro.
Yay!
It's Back to the Future 3. Marty goes back to the Old West to keep the Doc from getting shot by a Tannen. Bada bing!
Go Tannen.
Yeah.
Team Tannen.
Yeah, this movie's great.
Yeah.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I think this I can't be objective about this movie because it is my favorite of the three because I've seen it so fucking much.
Oh, it's my favorite too.
So
Have we already talked about this?
I think it's come up before.
Good. Well, I love it.
So you're filling my role from Back to the Future 1 on Back to the Future 3.
In that you blindly love it even though it has flaws?
Yes.
Yes.
It
Great.
doesn't have any flaws.
Yeah, what flaws are you talking
Yeah,
about?
which flaws?
Oh, I don't know. I fucking love it too, but...
Okay. But let's get this out of the way first, because there is a fucking massive plot hole
Oh no.
at the core of this movie
Okay.
that has to be addressed, and it's this. Marty and Doc both know the...
Temporal prime directive.
They both know the geological feature that they take the DeLorean over at the end of the film. They both
Show
know
Nash
that
Ravine.
They know it as Clayton Ravine.
Yeah.
They know it as such because in 1885, a school teacher on a runaway cart went off the edge and was killed. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
When Marty looks at the photograph of Doc Brown's tombstone,
Okay.
it says, your beloved Clara.
Mm-hmm.
So she did not die.
Not once Doc went back, now.
But here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Doc would have been nowhere near the ravine. The only reason he was able to save Clara from going over the edge is because he was out there with Marty checking out the bridge to see if it would work for their plan to put the car over it. He had no reason to be there.
Oh, there actually is an explanation for that.
What's that?
What it is he was supposed to meet her at the station. So in the time where he went back, but Marty didn't, which was the original... No, not original. Wow. Okay, so the original timeline, Doc wasn't in 1885. Marty wasn't in 1885.
The horse
Clara
gets
dies.
spooked and she dies.
And she dies. In Just Doc is in 1885. He meets her at the station,
She doesn't die.
and she doesn't die because the horse doesn't get spooked.
She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to get rescued though.
Right. For whatever reason, something about Doc meeting her, they maybe take a different route, or they leave later. They don't see the snake. Whatever. Horse doesn't get spooked, she doesn't die. 1885 with Doc and Marty, Doc doesn't meet her at the station. She is in the background of that scene where they're talking to the train engineer about something, though, at one point. So she's at the station waiting for Doc. He never shows up as far as she knows. She goes off, horse spook
gets spooked.
thing. Yeah.
Where's she going off to? Where the fuck is she going?
To her
The schoolhouse,
little
isn't
cottage
it?
they built for her nowhere near town for some reason.
So, what is the ravine called in 1955?
Grand
Where?
Ravine.
And why doesn't... So let's say it's called... let's say no one dies.
Yep.
And it's called Shonash Ravine, which is what it was originally called.
Yep.
Shouldn't then Doc, in 1885, know it as Shonash Ravine?
The change hasn't gotten to that Doc yet because it's further along for his personal... Don't think about it too hard. I'll make diagrams of straws like in Looper.
Okay.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's sort of explained, but it's still... Again, you have to accept the ever-wavery time travel rules of Back to the Future for it to make sense.
Okay, how about this one?
Oh,
Try this one
no.
over. So
Stop
Doc...
ruining this movie.
So Doc complains when he puts the liquor in the car to try and to get it started and blows up something.
Mm-hmm.
He
Fuel injector, I think.
fuel injector. He says, "Oh, it's going to take me a month or 6 months to repair this." Isn't there a perfectly good fuel injector on another DeLorean in a cave not far from town?
But then that would be something that 1955 Doc would have to
Yeah,
build.
but I'm sure in 1955 Doc could fix it.
I suppose.
Or fit a carburetor. I don't know.
Well, isn't that a different thing, a carburetor?
Fuel injectors replaced carburetors. in
Oh, okay.
cars.
Fair enough. So, this does mean this is something that actually really was... When you think about it, there is a point in Back to the Future 2 where I think there are 4? There are many DeLoreans in Hill Valley at one point in 1955.
There are many DeLorean.
Yes, yeah. Because there's the one that Marty brings back from 1985, originally in part 1.
Mm-hmm.
There's
No Mr. Fusion.
No Mr. Fusion. There's the Mr. Fusion flying part 2-1 that Biff Sr., old Biff rather, brings back to meet with young Biff, which does overlap briefly with Doc and Marty in the Mr. Fusion model.
Yeah.
So 4, because then there's the one that was in the
And there's one
cave
in the
the
cave.
whole time. So yeah, 4 at one point, DeLorean. In, like, I think there's the joke he makes in 2 saying about how, like, maybe that date is somehow important to the whole of the time-space continuum or it's just a huge coincidence. I just think he created, again, sort of paradoxically, it becomes a focal point for the space-time continuum because all those DeLorean is there.
All those DeLorean.
I wonder if they could have drained some gas out of the DeLorean in the cave.
He'd already drained it to store it.
Mm,
They do mention they would have, he would have drained all the fluids
yeah.
so it could store safely.
I just find... I do find the conceit of the best way we could come up with to get something to move 90 miles per hour is by hooking it up to a train.
No,
What would you do?
I liked the idea of running it down a steep hill.
Well, yeah, but they needed the ice, and the lake wouldn't ice over until later.
There wouldn't be ice. They're in the fucking desert.
here's
Well, there's that too, yes, but he does say that supposedly the lake will ice over.
I mean, they're in the mountains, maybe.
Yeah, true.
Could be some snow.
There's some hills next to the valley in Hill Valley.
To drag the car up a fucking hill.
True.
Yeah, hey, they've hooked it up to horses,
I think if we may fall back on Ames' explanation, the Doc is a psychopath.
Yes.
And that version would involve the most craziness, thievery, and explosory.
He does say at one point when he's tooting the train, "I've always wanted to do this." Rah!
And he complains that nobody around to see the blast. But
Well,
then he is.
I assume that he meant, pull the bell on a train, not
Yeah, no, that's
push,
what
a,
I mean.
push a time machine.
Well, yes,
All
but...
for him to be able to pull the
Go
little
the toot-toot.
the little toot on the train.
He even steals the guy's hat.
well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Damn.
he's already there.
I mean, here's the
He
thing,
took his
though.
wallet just for fun.
In terms of, things that are going to fuck up the timeline, destroying a goddamn train.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now all that lumber and stuff isn't getting where it needs to go, and then any subsequent load of lumber and stuff.
So,
and people.
locomotives are, that's going to fuck up the entire schedule for a long time.
Yeah.
They don't just have those hanging around.
You have to imagine probably even affected the bridge construction. I'm sure having the thing fly off the end of it did at least some damage. Well, yeah, then the explosion, yeah.
Why do they name it after Eastwood when he was a freaking train robber?
That's the thing. People genuinely must not have realized he was involved, right?
They knew he got killed in the train going over the thing.
That's true, yeah. That is weird.
So they must have...
Well, maybe they thought he was trying to save it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Doc could have told them.
Yeah, that's true. Doc survives.
Doc could have been oh, yes.
No, but the conductor, who they don't kill off, they should have killed this conductor, can go back to the town and say, "These people stole my train."
They were
They were
wearing
wearing
masks.
masks. How
And
are
he's
you
not
gonna-
from there. How often is he... And maybe after this
One
is
of
like...
them's got Christopher Lloyd eyes.
Well, you know, he was like, I am never doing that run again. Switch me to a different run. Never going back to Hill Valley. Bad luck. Or the Doc pays him off with counterfeit money, one or the other.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about this movie is it's fantastic, but It's just like the rest of the series. It does not hold up much to scrutiny.
The time travel is not their main concern. It is a conveyance for the story, just as we were saying off air how butter and bread is a conveyance for... bread is a conveyance for butter. Where was that in the episode? That might have been in the last episode.
I think that was on air.
Let's break it up again. Noodles and bread, conveyances for butter and cheese.
Lobster, good for bread.
Lobster, good for living in the ocean.
Hey,
Also true.
What?
let's talk about how George and Lorraine are at best second cousins.
Yeah, what is the choice to... I mean, I get the genes are strong in the McFly family, but what is the choice in casting... What is the woman's name? Leah Thompson as this additional woman.
They straight up, just for the sake of having Leah Thompson in the movie, they've said, we know it seems weird, but we wanted Leah Thompson in the movie.
They needed the mom.
It was so they could do the joke.
Yeah, unless it's that the McFlys just have a type.
I think actually he might have said that.
Okay,
Don't quote me, it's been a
while.
while.
Sounds
But
like something. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the idea that they're just second cousins because, I mean, yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Marty's just a little inbred. That's all.
Bless him, though. I love Michael J. Fox, but Seamus's accent.
Oh God, yeah.
You know what's great in bread? Butter.
Hey!
Brought it back.
Well,
Like the McFlys.
God, and that mustache and the wig wasn't bad.
You're right, McFlys make delicious sandwiches.
Just gotta get the pellets out first.
Yeah, the pellets is a good touch. The water being
water's so
disgusting.
gross.
Probably accurate, though.
You think? Or you think they boil it off first?
Yeah, but boiling it doesn't necessarily remove, like, dirt.
Color,
I mean, it
Probably
removes
just
and
filter.
bacteria.
yeah. Probably what it is whatever you suck
Put it
out
through a
of the well, you
cheesecloth.
put it through a cheesecloth.
Yeah,
and that's
actually,
what
they
you
probably
end up
would have
with.
done that.
Yeah.
But it still would be disgusting because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
well water, probably.
That's actually the most unrealistic part of this film. That Marty doesn't just have crippling diarrhea for several days.
He could.
He does.
We don't see it.
Doc, it's great to see you. Don't hug me too harder. Oh, never mind.
See, that's why he's late for the showdown with Tannen.
And has to change his clothes. Why did he dress you like that?
It's not to fit in. It's because the horrible, horrible stain.
Yeah, column A, column B.
One in Rome.
So here's the thing.
What's the thing?
They were able to get... So the showdown with Biff, or with Mad Dog,
Yeah.
took longer than they expected. Or like, they expected to have already intercepted
Who's
the train.
they? Who's they?
Marty and Doc.
Okay. I'm thinking the writers. No, wait.
They would have, like, they were already supposed to be waiting to hijack the train by the time Mad Dog showed up.
Mm-hmm.
The train was delayed because Clara pulled the emergency stop.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
If
But Tannen was also early for his own showdown.
Yeah, a couple minutes. And the reason she did that was because she needed to rush back to town to find Doc.
Yep.
If she had just stayed on the train, she was on that train.
But then they wouldn't have intercepted the train.
But then they would have missed the train themselves. So it all works out.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason, folks.
No, that's Signs you're thinking of.
That's what?
Terrible M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Oh, I've seen that one. It's one with Mel Gibson, right?
Yeah, where everything
Like
happens
water
for a reason.
aliens
Water,
or
Yeah.
some shit.
Yeah.
Water.
Or rather, don't like water aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad, wasn't it?
It was good up until the twist.
I feel like I had to watch it in school.
Yeah, Joaquin was in it.
Kind of true of a lot of his films, is my understanding.
You know what it is? It's because he got, like, the reputation for being the twist guy.
The twist guy.
Yeah.
And then his twists have gotten worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, like the only two I think anyone genuinely liked were Signs and Sixth Sense, as far as the twist went.
What a twist.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of his recent films, so I kind of gave up on
I
it.
think that show he works on now is actually supposed to be good. I can't
Really?
remember
What's
what it's
the
called.
show?
Servant, I think?
I don't know.
It's some Apple TV one.
The last film of his that I can remember seeing was, I think it was called Lady in the Water.
Oh, yeah,
It was
that one was supposed to
terrible.
be awful.
It was really bad.
Which was the one where the trees are trying to kill people?
The
That's
event.
Happening.
Happening.
The Happening. That was
I
the
haven't
last one
seen-
I
I
saw.
haven't seen that.
It is fucking terrible.
I have literally only seen Unbreakable.
Have you
Oh, you
not
haven't
seen The Sixth Sense?
I
No,
didn't either.
because the problem is...
Yeah, the twist, since you know
You
the
know the
twist
twist.
already.
Well, the thing is, I guessed it because a friend of mine was like, "Oh man, I saw The Sixth Sense over the weekend. It was great. There was this twist." I was like, "Oh, is Bruce Willis dead?" He was like, "How'd you know?" It's like, well, he sees dead people. You said there's a twist. 1 + 1, like
I remember the
Chekhov's
village.
ghost.
The village didn't suck.
That's the one with the monster.
It's the one with the village.
Yeah, the one with the blind girl.
Yeah. And there's a monster.
And there's a
that's
monster.
attacking people.
And I just remember like the tension being very good.
Yeah.
This is now a M. Night Shyamalan podcast.
Evidently, how did this happen?
Yeah, I think his problem is that he's got like good horror or like suspense instincts, but he's like saddled with the having to make a stupid twist for everything.
Yeah.
Ruins it.
Yeah. But back to this.
Back to this, no twist.
Nope.
Everything's no lemon and no lime.
Well, the twist is that your future hasn't been written yet, and no one can say otherwise, even an admiral from the future.
Oh, you stole my joke. I was like, oh man, we got to bring up.
Oh, I'm simply referring back to it. It is in our episode.
Oh, is it?
Will have gone up by the time this goes live.
Yay!
Is that a Voyager reference?
Yes.
Yes.
The finale, Endgame.
I missed that show.
Oh shit, we didn't bring up
Watched it a
Endgame
week
at
ago.
all during Back to the Future 2. Although really, the most Back to the Future 2 of Voyager was Shattered.
Shattered, yeah, Shattered. If we had thought ahead, we probably would have put 2 after Shattered. But I also think doing these 2 back to back is pretty.
Yeah,
It's logical
Back
because
in time.
they were filming them like back to back. Like
Yeah.
they're literally editing 2 whilst doing 3.
Yeah.
They used the Mad Dog promo photo in the second movie, which I
Yep.
thought was very
Yeah.
clever.
Yep.
Like, good for them.
One thing that a joke that makes a lot more is like as a kid it was like that's weird, but as an adult you're like, oh, I get that more now, and that's funny. That Tannen's kill count didn't include basically anyone that wasn't a white guy.
Yeah.
It was like that. Ooh, wow, that is probably true of a lot of criminals from that era. They probably didn't mark down unless it was a white guy.
When was this marked down? I missed this.
When they're in the library reading up on Mad Dog Tannen, when they're looking for information on Doc.
Okay.
Well, let me try that again.
Go ahead.
When 1955 Doc and Marty are in the library trying to see if there's any proof that it is in fact Doc Brown, or where exactly they can find Doc Brown in 1885,
Okay.
Marty comes across an entry on Mad Dog Tannen that mentions he's said to have killed up to like some number of men, not including, and this is the movie, Indians and Chinamen.
Oof.
And it's like, that's actually probably historically accurate.
Yeah.
Old-timey racism.
Well, here's something that is interesting.
Is it? I'll be the judge.
Hey.
Judge Ames on the case.
Everybody in families always looks the same, and no one ever leaves Hill Valley.
Yeah.
I think Hill Valley might actually be
Haunted.
a micro universe
well,
of some kind.
Well, see, what does kind of ruin that idea, though, is the fact that George McFly is now also played by Michael J. Fox.
that
That's
would have been
true.
impossible for filming the 1985 movie.
Sure.
They didn't have the technology.
Don't worry, in the remake it'll all be the same actor.
But yeah, no, it's a side effect of all the time shenanigans Doc has pulled.
Did you see the look that he just gave?
He's just created some sort of
It's actually
weird bubble.
It's also why in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, I am consistently getting more and more pissed that the Kirk brothers aren't both played by the same actor.
Oh, I missed such a chance on that. It makes me so sad.
What was the chance?
To have both Kirks be the same
They
actor.
missed it.
Yeah.
You had nothing to do with it.
No. They...
Chris, you've been writing a Strange New Worlds?
No, but I
He's
did
the
cast
casting
it.
director.
Oh, wow, no shit.
Cool.
Good work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta admit, they'd already picked Anson Mount for me. That one was out of my hands. I agree with it, don't get me wrong, but I cannot take credit for
But
that.
I wish
Balls.
Anson Mount was in my I wish Anson Mount was in my hands.
The balls on bringing Carol Kane in for no reason. Carol Kane?
That does sound like something I do.
I'm always
yes.
forgetting her actual
Yes,
name.
it's Carol Kane.
Carol
Carol
Kane.
Kane again?
The new engineer. Oh, you haven't seen any of it yet. She's the new chief engineer.
Why is that balls? Like,
'Cause-
who is Carol Kane? Carol Kane.
She's the witch, or like the witch doctor wife lady from Princess Bride, with Billy Crystal.
Oh, no shit.
Have fun storming the castle.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
She came to prominence as Latka's girlfriend and eventually wife in Taxi.
Oh.
So she's largely a sort of a,
Isn't her name like Litka or something? It's like very similar,
Simka,
isn't
I
it?
think?
Simka, that sounds right. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry.
We do this thing.
I found it interesting that Strickland's ancestor
Yes.
looked exactly like him, except he had hair.
Yeah, a lot of hair and a big mustache.
Yeah.
We don't know, though. Does he ever take the head off? He might
That's
be bald
true.
on
It
top
could
with
be-
just
could be
long
like a
sides.
nail pattern, yeah.
They happily did cut a scene of him getting murdered.
Oh my! Why would they murder him?
Marshall Strickland.
Yeah, Marshall Strickland, his son, like, he dies in his son's arms,
Jeez.
telling him to, like, always be whatever.
Disciplined. And
And
nothing but discipline.
Don't be a
And
slacker.
it's just like, oh god. And I think they even... That's why he's not there at the end of the film. And I think there's even mention of the murder of Marshall Strickland, but maybe they cut that line, I don't know. But yeah, so that's a cutscene you can see if you ever want to be really depressed.
They end up getting arrested for robbing the stagecoach.
Yeah.
Which we don't even see. They just talk about it.
Yeah.
And Mad Dog eats shit in the end. Literally and figuratively.
That whole family does nothing but eat shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the running gag is great.
Oh, yeah. It is.
The moment when he gets decked in the face with that hunk of metal, and they do the same little choreography from the other movies. At least the first one. I forget if there's a good punch in the second one.
I don't remember.
But there's that same, like, punch spinorama move that all the Tannens just do.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was going to say, there is a great punch in the second movie, but no, it's the first punch from the first movie. So.
Oh, that's true. It's back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a punch in every movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tannens go spinning.
Okay, did in this movie then, because if they did it and I missed it, then I'm sad. Because I know in both the first movie and the second movie, there's a moment when Biff is in front of McFly, and it's the moment of him looking over the shoulder because he's so littler.
They did that with Griff.
Yeah, they did that with Griff in the second movie. Is there that moment with Mad Dog in this movie?
I did not notice.
God.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the one flaw of this movie.
How long do you think they tried to figure out a way to have skateboarding in 1885 before they went, that's a bridge too far. That is too much.
Yeah, but what they did instead, so they took the bit from the second movie with Elijah Wood and the
yes.
Oh, the shootout
shooting
thing.
gallery.
shooting gallery.
Yeah, that
game
was cute.
Brought that back.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and there's just like a lot of fun gags in this movie. The Frisbee pie plate.
I liked that.
Which I only found out recently. They really did start as a pie plate
You never heard
company?
this?
Yeah, I somehow didn't
I always
know
assumed
that.
it was a joke for the movie.
So did I, but apparently they really...
No, it was the Frisbee Pie Company out of Connecticut. I forget where. I want to say Stamford. It was where these pie plates came from because people, after eating the pie, would throw the plate. My question is, would it have made it from Connecticut to California?
You're shipping pies from Connecticut to
My-
California in
Only if you
1885.
threw it really, really hard.
My understanding is that, because the person who told me this looked it up, and yeah, I don't think it technically works, but it's fun.
I allow it.
Maybe
It's a cute gag.
maybe somebody saved the plate,
Yeah, but
and
it's a
then
new
when
pie.
they moved out west, they took it with them.
Yeah, I randomly just checked the Wikipedia page for the Frisbee Pie Company because I was like, how does this timing work out? Would they have made it to California? And it's a great photo of the pie plate, and it looks just like the one in the movie, so good for them.
Okay, but who was the first person to realize that doggos would lose their goddamn minds about them?
That's a good question.
I'm sure they found out very quickly when someone just threw it near a dog, and the dog lost its shit, and they were like, oh, okay. Like, they probably weren't even meaning to. They probably just thrown it at somebody else, and the dog was near there, and it's just like, oh, okay.
But here's the thing. So the Frisbee, I believe, is made by Whammo.
Yes, they sold it to Whammo, and I want to say the 19-somethings.
Ah, interesting.
They're the people that make log. Just kidding, that's Blammo. Is that yours?
So I guess I was wondering,
mine,
did
but
the
it's
Frisbee
closed.
Pie Company change into just the Frisbee Company and then become Whammo, or was Whammo a separate company?
Whammo bought Frisbee.
Does Whammo still make pies?
Probably. They should, but...
Yum.
Now I want pie.
Oh man, I could use a pie.
Right?
Why does Jake only have cake?
I mean, I would eat cake. But I want pie.
So it's just like how, Back to the Future 1 had no mention of chicken, but then 2 and 3 do. Our first Back to the Future episode doesn't have mention of cake, but now our 2 and 3 do. We're very thematically appropriate.
Cake and pie is great, and being chicken is fucking dumb.
Or being yella, as they would say
Yella.
in 1885.
I do appreciate that Marty never does get the hang of thinking fourth dimensionally.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. He's supposed to be like a 17-year-old kid, and this has been like the most fucked up 2 weeks of his life.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten a break.
No, yeah, this has been like...
Or a shower.
And he's been shitting himself constantly.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was showering in
much
1955. He hasn't showered at all in 1885 because he didn't do that back then.
Yeah, they showed the public bath area.
Oh,
People
yeah,
looking like,
gross.
oh no.
Yeah.
You could tell that was the one thing. He was like, oh shit.
The thing is, we don't really know how much time he spent in 1955 this time.
No, that's the thing. He could have been there for a while.
Well, right, because Doc had to have made the circuit for the time circuit.
Yeah, so he had to get together, He didn't necessarily already have all of that just lying around. He may have had to go to buy stuff. He may have had to special order stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just walk into a corner store in 1955 and get plutonium.
Well, yeah, and he didn't need plutonium because he had Mr. Fusion.
No, I was just referring back to the...
Yes, but yeah, he needed to, because they were replacing an integrated circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And Doc said that, it wouldn't have been invented until the 40s. So I'm imagining what he needed was like transistors,
Yeah.
semiconductors, which were invented in the 40s,
Yeah.
but would not have been like very commercially available probably for your average. You couldn't go down to like Radio Shack and pick one up. Probably.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I do like the fact that the 1955 version of Microchip took up most of the hood because it would have.
Yeah, if not more.
Yeah. We don't know. Well, then again, that's the thing is I think I'm pretty sure the engine is in the back of a DeLorean.
Yeah.
So they pretty much had that whole thing to work with.
Yeah, filled with snacks.
Delicious snacks.
Man, I bet
Pies.
you fucking Doc is kicking himself though for not having done an EV conversion at the same time he did a hover conversion.
That's a good
Because
Like, what's the point of keeping?
no one in the 80s was forecasting that.
I feel like EVs you would have seen coming because they were like Chevy had some out in like the 70s.
Yeah, but they
they were shit.
Still, yeah.
during the very, very early automotive creation, electric and gasoline were neck and neck until they realized, no, gasoline all the way.
But actually, that's a good question, though. Why wouldn't he just convert the DeLorean in 1885 to be an electric car?
Maybe
Or a steam-powered car.
Maybe the demands... I imagine the demands of the flux capacitor probably just suck up every ounce he can get out of Mr. Fusion. And asking it to do more would be too much.
Yeah, he doesn't need
Yeah.
that 1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah.
Gigawatts!
He's also like powering a popcorn maker and a blender, smoothie maker thing on the
So
console.
here's the thing: you get the car up to like get it up to 100. Leave the flux capacitor off.
Ah.
Put it in neutral.
Unless the acceleration is somehow also part of it.
That's true.
We don't know.
Maybe.
So, yeah, I'm sure it didn't invent this idea, but surely this movie is a big part of the reason steampunk got big, right?
I'm sure it's
Yeah, what is the history of steampunk? When did steampunk start?
I have no clue,
I always
to be
assumed it always existed.
I always assumed it started with Wild Wild West.
That's actually a good point. Like, joking aside...
the original series?
Yeah, it was sort of like Old West, but kind of some tech, if you... Certainly, though, they were less ridiculous in the fucking movie. They tried to stay a little more within the realm of, if you squint, they maybe could have managed this.
So the third picture is definitely a picture of Loveless, or whatever his name is, from Wild Wild West.
The terrible movie or the show?
I think he's playing the movie one. But
Is it?
it says... although many works now considered seminal to the genre were published in the 60s and 70s, the term steampunk originated largely in the 80s as a tongue-in-cheek variant of cyberpunk.
Interesting.
Like, they don't go too heavy on them. Mostly it's Doc's weird scope on his gun and the fridge thing.
Yeah.
All that to make ice. Like,
It's cute.
2 cubes, too. which
His
is
iced
better.
tea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how in this movie he brings back building models, just
Of course, it's not to
unnecessarily
scale, but...
yeah, unnecessarily detailed models of things.
This one's not to scale, but it is painted.
Now, I've told you about how I love these movies. I was a kid. I had the Lego train set. Lego had a
Oh my
train set.
God.
It was electric. So I rebuilt that and I made it so the train to look like the locomotive from this movie. And I built a DeLorean.
Did you label it Time Machine so that Clara will know what it is?
No, I tried to make it look like the car in the movie, but and I would reenact this film with the Lego train set.
You are so adorable. I can't.
I do have the official licensed Lego Back to the Future DeLorean they put out a while ago now. I want to say maybe 2015, 2016.
And then
But
you
you're
want
going
a
to say
train
20
set.
years ago. I was like, Jesus
But
Christ.
they've now since put out a newer licensed model. It's a little larger and a little more detailed though. I don't think it comes with minifigs though, because the minifigs would be too small for it.
I don't know if my parents have any photographs of my
Your model?
my Back to the Future setup.
Oh my god.
Aww.
Please see if they do. We could post them with this episode. I notice we're not talking about this movie very much, though.
That's the thing. Like, it's a very, like, it's so normal to me that it's like, I feel like I just know it. So it's like, what is there to really talk about?
Yeah, that's why I kind of need people to kind of push me with the first one a lot. The second one, because
It's very weird.
it's the most complex of the
and
three.
it's got, like, 3 entirely different stages to it.
Yeah, this is a lot more straightforward. It's a lot like the first one. It's like, we have to get home, and also you've accidentally threatened your own existence. But it's even more de-emphasized in this to an extent than it was in the first one. The main thrust is just get home. And Doc, don't fuck Doc, come on. Oh, fine, you can have that. You can have a little fucking Clara for a
Well,
treat.
the thing is, he is free to fuck Clara because she's supposed to be dead.
No, I know.
Like, he
Yeah,
can't...
it's not going to change anything.
It won't change it. I mean...
He can kidnap Clara and bring her to the future.
unless she's like a world peace activist and prevents World War I or something.
Oh, no.
Which in turn would prevent World War II.
That's true.
Holy crap.
Here's my question then. Okay. How fucking old is Doc? Because we know, in 1955, he was older than Marty, let's say.
I would say he's probably supposed to be like late 30s, early 40s
In 55?
Oh, okay. I was like, in the 80s? But go on. I apologize.
Okay, he just looks terrible because he's living in 1955.
Yeah.
All right, so add 30 years to that.
70s.
Because he's also had, but then...
No, 30 years to 30 is 60s.
Well, I said 30s or 40s.
Oh, okay.
So 60s or 70s.
Okay, fine.
In 1985. Because we also know, in the last movie, he got himself some kind of facial surgery to make himself look like he's the Doc in 1955 so that they wouldn't have to
do age makeup on him.
Well,
That's
but
literally why they
makeup
did
on
it.
him.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, but surely they did that just because, the only thing they really did was jowl up his neck and it looked like garbage, right?
Yeah, it was to save themselves 5 minutes of effort a day, but still.
Yeah, and there's also, how much time has he been traveling around
No
between
idea.
We don't know.
1 and 2?
So they actually...
between 1 and 2, that's fair, I don't know.
They do have a line in there, which they did do on purpose, was he got his face redone, but he
Yeah.
also said changed out his blood and did something else. They said, tacked a good 20, 30 years onto my life. And they said they specifically threw that in so that, yes, he will get some time with Clara.
Okay, good. 'Cause,
They
yeah,
did-
that's one of it's like, but I like Clara so
Yeah.
much. She's just a sweet thing.
Yeah, it's-
She loves sci-fi. She's a science geek.
So here's what's great. Mary Steenburgen's first film role
Mm.
was in 1979's Time After Time.
Oh my God,
the
can we
Nick
do-
Meyer thing.
Can
Written
we do
and direct-
that? That's a great movie.
Written and directed by Star Trek 2 and 6's Nicholas Meyer. And yeah, it features her falling in love with a time-traveling H.G. Wells.
Oh,
played
yay.
by Malcolm McDowell.
Oh, who she married?
Yeah. And David
then-
Warner.
Oh wait, is Malcolm McDowell in?
He's
Is he in
Generations.
Star Trek? Yeah.
And David Warner's in 5, 6. He's Gull Madred. He's wow, there's a lot of Star Trek connections in that film.
Guys, why haven't we watched that movie
we
yet?
should
Mary
watch Time After
Steenburgen's
Time.
married to Ted Danson.
Ted Danson.
She
is.
was married to Malcolm McDowell.
I
And then she
never knew
married
that.
Ted
I
Danson.
didn't know that.
So Ted Danson is the stepfather of her kids to Malcolm McDowell.
Is she still married to Ted Danson?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Shit,
No,
kids
she's
with
breaking
Malcolm
up with him
McDowell.
to marry Larry David. Because Ted Danson's dating Cheryl,
Yeah, but that's funny. I know Mary Steenburgen from this movie
Yep.
and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I know her from this movie and Time After Time.
Yeah.
She's done a lot of stuff, just
Yeah,
not a lot
yeah.
of stuff I've seen.
I feel like I've seen some other
Yeah,
stuff, but I
I-
can't think of them right now.
Well, I enjoy her in this, and then when I was looking up, oh yeah, she's married to Ted Danson, all this thing. I just happened to look up, okay, how much older than her is Christopher Lloyd? It's 15 years, and he was married. He's been married 5 times.
Oh dear.
Fucking
What a life!
Christopher slinging Dick Lloyd over here. I think I just realized why 1 and 3 are my preferred movies, and that's because they're so romantic.
Aww.
And I'm a sucker for that shit.
But the first romance is with Crispin Glover, who's a strange
No,
fucker.
here's the thing. I fancy Crispin Glover.
I just find him like the weirdest.
I think you fancy George McFly. That's a little different.
I don't know. I don't know Crispin Glover personally.
He does seem very odd.
Have you met me?
Too odd.
For me?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Probably. Also, this didn't, I think, actually get said last time, but
Gasp. Something we didn't say.
2 is the only one without a signature song.
But it does have ZZ Top.
That's
Yes!
This one has ZZ Top.
I love
First
it
one
so much.
has
Huey Lewis.
Huey
and the
Lewis.
News.
The second one doesn't have a signature song.
Oh man, how did they manage that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. The story I read was ZZ Top was just around the set and they asked if they could be the band. Which, I don't know how the fuck that happens. And then, as they're in the middle of it, they're on a break, they're having to fix something they have to go fix something. So they just kept having, ZZ Top play songs with them. And they ask later, when did that thing get fixed? Oh, hours ago. We just didn't want to break up the fun. I would love that to be around a ZZ Top spontaneous concert.
I was going to make a joke that ZZ Top just showed up dressed like that, but it sounds like they did. I actually have to admit, despite, again, growing up with these movies, loving them, it never occurred to me, I am not familiar with the works of Mr. ZZ Top outside of this film.
Well, they've got a couple hits.
Did ZZ Top do Bad to the Bone?
No.
That's George Thorough somebody? Is it really not ZZ Top?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's why I thought that.
I feel like one of their big hits is Sharp Dressed Man.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I'm
got a
thinking
lot of radio play.
I love the fucking drum spin.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, their drummer, whose last name is Beard, the only band member who doesn't sport a beard.
Funny.
Oh, it is George Thorogood who did Bad to the
that's what
Bone.
I thought.
As soon as I said it, I knew it was wrong.
This is similar sound,
Do they?
kind of.
Okay,
I don't really know. That
know.
sing.
Yep, exact same thing. I don't really know either of their music, so.
But yeah, we get that going.
Yeah, I enjoy their Hootenanny very much. I think that song is very iconic.
That always, anytime I watch this movie, it winds up stuck in my head for fucking ages.
Now, is it... So what's interesting is the end credit song is the ZZ Top, their rock and roll song, but if you listen closely, it's the same tune as they're playing...
Lovely.
At the dance, that do 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 it's the same song. They're just playing like a old timey version of it at the dance.
That's beautiful.
That's so cool.
I love shit like that. Oh, the gun seller is the toady from Blazing Saddles.
I don't know. It's
I
been so
wouldn't
long time since I've
recognize.
seen that film.
Oh, so yes, there's Harvey Korman's henchman.
Who?
Harvey Korman.
I don't know.
Hedley Lamar.
Don't know any of that.
Oh, okay. So the main villain's henchman has a toady. And that
I believe
toady
you.
is the gun seller. There's a bunch of people who've been in westerns of varying sorts and cameos in this. The guy with the weird voice in the bar.
Yeah, all three of the barflies are famous for being just background in westerns all the time.
Yeah. And funny, I mostly knew that guy because he was Mr. Haney in Green Acres.
Well, and he was one of the bullets in
Yes.
Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yes,
you're right.
that is that voice.
He's in The Fox and the Hound, I want to say.
He's got a great voice.
He's the other dog.
Oh.
I think he's in one. I think he's in Robin Hood.
I think he might
Probably.
be, actually.
He's in everything. He's in
Yeah.
Fievel Goes West, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, you got a voice like that, you got to put it in everything.
Actually, no, I might be making that one up. Maybe he's not. But yeah, he's definitely one of the bullets in Roger Rabbit.
I know that it was because the day of the Western had heavily waned by this point, and they were saying they had all these people who knew how to do stunt riding who were so excited to do stunt riding again because it had been ages since anyone needed it.
Yeah, but then Tom Wilson did all his own stunts,
Nice,
including lassoing, the
Really?
lassoing of Marty.
Shit,
he did
that's
himself.
amazing.
I feel like I knew that once but forgot.
Yeah,
And then they nearly killed Michael J. Fox.
they did. They nearly hanged him.
Yep. The
Really?
safety
Was
harness
it-
broke.
Oh shit!
So he was actually holding himself up for his life in that scene.
He fell
Jesus.
unconscious briefly.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
Jesus
No one
Christ.
noticed that this was
I think they
happening?
did when he probably stopped moving.
Breathing.
Yeah.
Talking.
So yeah, that's...
You said that there was you missed this.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah, I didn't
close
bring it up
call
again.
too.
A stunt woman problem.
If you watch the scene in 2 where Griff's gang goes through the windows of the courthouse / mall, the woman on the far left hits a pillar. She actually hit the pillar, wasn't supposed to.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was actually hospitalized for a while over
Holy
it.
shit.
But yeah, so, I don't know, safety standards on these movies. Who was in charge? I have questions. So funny, like, when I was a kid, I really wasn't into, I'm still really not into Westerns in a big way, but I love Italian Westerns. So since I grew up on this movie, I have actually now seen Fistful of Dollars, so that whole reference with the plate and stuff, I've actually seen the film it's from, and it's a good movie.
Didn't they do that in A Fistful of Datas, too? Something similar?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't remember.
Might have been like a force field.
That
Was it
sounds
Star
Star
Trek.
I don't
Trek-y.
remember
Yeah.
that episode too well.
True for the best.
Terrible
Not great.
episode.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not great.
But yeah, the Fistful of Dollars, and like again, that's another one where they set it up in
The first,
in
and two, rather.
in two when
Yeah.
Biff's watching that movie.
So Biff helps foil his own ancestor.
He hoists his own petard.
Oh, there you go.
The Tannens are their own worst enemy.
Basically.
Yeah, so that's interesting, right? So that's got to have some kind of effect, unless
He was always arrested then.
he was always arrested for
And
the
he was always
stagecoach.
arrested at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
It just, like, he wouldn't have been in town. They would have caught him somewhere else. Yeah, don't think about it too hard.
Ah, okay.
Oh, and actually, though, speaking, though, of the Westerns and all that, when Marty says, that's right, you haven't heard of him yet, referring to Clint Eastwood, he gestures to a poster, because that poster was from an early Clint Eastwood movie. Like, I don't think he was a star even, but he was,
it was
in
before
it.
his name was really big at all.
Yeah, and I think it was like a science fiction film, too, not a Western, or something. It wasn't a Western, I think, though.
Yeah, it was just whatever one of his very, very early credits was, and yeah, it's a good little touch.
Man, the cowboy costume though,
It's so bad.
is so bad. With like the little like nuclear.
He looks like a dolly. He looks like he's
yeah.
dressed like a dolly.
He looks like Woody.
It is a little, like, it does somewhat stretch credulity. It's like, Doc, you're a learned man. You know people didn't dress like that.
And
What
that's
are you
what
doing?
he has access to.
Yeah.
Did you realize, Chris, you might know this, who they originally tried to get to play the mayor of 1885 Hill Valley?
Fuck, if I knew, I no longer remember.
Oh, you would remember this one. It was Ronald Reagan. And he said no.
The actor?
The president!
Oh.
He wouldn't have been the president at this time.
Yeah, he was just finished
But
his
he was also
presidency.
probably losing his mind pretty bad.
I am so glad that
I
fell
was gonna
through.
say, Chris would have really not been able to like these movies.
Yeah,
that would have
it
really
like,
would have changed
honestly,
Chris's entire
a
future.
Ronald
honestly.
Reagan cameo would have actually ruined this movie for me.
Yeah.
Home Alone 2 has definitely gone down a peg because of that Trump shit.
Yeah, they cut it
Maybe
for
like-
time now.
Thank God.
I hope they do, yeah. It's
Trying
not
to get
necessary.
Cameo from Hitler in your World War II movie or something. Actually,
Yeah.
no, it wouldn't even be a World War II. It would be like,
It'd have to be like
you know who would be great for this? I don't know, Hansel and Gretel retelling. I'm trying to think of like
oh my God.
something
And he
from
plays
German-
the witch.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
falling.
what
to
if we
pieces.
actually
Hitler in
got
drag.
Adolf Hitler to play the witch in Hansel and Gretel?
I mean, listen,
This
I
has
hate
gotten
it, but it would
very
be kind of
weird.
This
funny.
went places.
Yeah.
I wonder if Thomas Wilson knew to wear pantyhose.
Pantyhose?
I just remember, I don't know if we talked about it at the time. We might have.
Oh,
It's-
because that's what Shatner does.
yeah, it helps prevent chafing when you're horseback riding.
Keeps your pants up.
Yeah, sure. I think,
He told Stewart.
I'm sure that's why. I'm sure what happened was Stewart walked into
Caught him in
Shatner's
pantyhose?
trailer, and Shatner's putting on his pantyhose like, it's for
horse riding!
Alternately-
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
Alternately, it's
Jake and
entirely possible he wasn't wearing them, but told Stewart it was a trick to do, so that Stewart was.
Oh, yeah,
That
that's
does sound
also...
like something he'd do.
But
Also,
also,
like,
Stewart's a serious, like any serious writer, he has his own pantyhose.
Oh, he's also been in so many Shakespearean productions, he already has a bunch of pantyhose.
In every color.
Yep.
I find that pantyhose can cause a lot of chafing, actually.
I've never worn them, so I couldn't.
But I
tell you.
haven't worn them while riding a horse,
Makes
so...
You're
Go ahead
supposed
and
to
go
put the
use the bathroom.
pantyhose on the horse. That's where you messed
Wait,
up.
the horse was wearing pantyhose?
No, don't listen to anything Jake says. Ever.
No, I didn't really think that...
To a point you made earlier, though,
Oh, no.
uh,
Back in time.
it is so, like, the only reason he wrote Time Machine on that was so that Clara
Yeah,
could.
because
Oh, of
Clara had to
course.
come and see that, oh, wait, maybe he is a mad scientist and not just a madman.
A madman would never just write the words Time Machine on a block. Do you think this is the Time Machine? How are we supposed to fit in this? Get in, Smithers.
Yes, hop in.
The time machine for ants?
I call it the spruce moose.
Whatever, that works. It's fine. I love their love. To quote Caitlin.
Yeah, they're very cute.
Man, a hoverboard may not work over water, but apparently it'll work really high in the fucking air.
Yeah.
Because at that end shot, they are very far off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Always struck me as a little weird. It's like, shouldn't they be lower?
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know. This may have come up previously on our show for some reason.
Good.
Because I like to bring it up all the time.
Sure.
The little kid at the end of the movie pointing at his dick.
Yes.
Oh, yes, you
I'm
definitely
sorry,
brought
what?
this up.
Jake, tell the full story.
Because I don't know if it's ever made it onto anything or
Okay,
not. So
so-
let's be
Chris
safe.
is like, great, I have to cut this again.
So at the end of the film, Doc shows up in the new train.
The time train.
Flying time train. Ridiculous. That's the one. I think that ruins the movie, actually. The time train. So stupid. Anyway. Shows up in the time train. He introduced Marty and Jennifer to his wife, Clara, and his 2 children, Jules and Vern. And they're just sitting, they don't have any lines. They're just sitting
Thank God.
there. But there's a point where I think it's when Doc is telling Jennifer that, she, not even an admiral from the future can tell her what's going to happen. There's this moment where the camera zooms in on Doc, but you can just see, just at the edge of the frame, and maybe it wasn't even in like the letterbox or the
Probably wasn't.
the
Pan and
the
scan.
pan and scan version. There's the child
Vern.
The shitty one.
is sitting there, and he does, and I'll show you, Kate. I'll demonstrate it for Caitlin.
Demonstrate, but also narrate,
He's-
because
he's-
the audience can't see.
He's standing there, and then with his hand, he goes like this.
A little kinda
he does
come
like
here.
a come here, and then he does this.
Points.
No, it's one point. It's not multiple
Okay,
points.
fine,
it's
but
one
it's-
point.
Because he had to pee, and he was trying to signal that
And
he
then
had to
and
pee.
then he stares right at the camera.
Dead into it. It fucks up the scene so hard.
And they
Why
somehow
are child
printed
actors
that.
the worst?
Well, how much time you got?
I'm hoping when his parents saw that, he was whipped.
No.
Wow.
But he should feel shame for the rest of his days for ruining. Well, I mean, that was a shitty scene in the movie.
See, I like the train. The return of the train, I think, is cute.
I just don't. How did he build it?
You just
Science.
You just needed more space, I
It's
mean,
steam powered.
He had plenty of time.
Like
He
all,
went and took the train that fell into the ravine.
like think
brought
of
it home.
all of the things that he would have had to invent decades before they would have supposed to exist.
He's got all the time.
I mean, how is he generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity with 1885 technology
Steam.
Well,
that would
we-
fit on a train?
Steam.
We don't know what's in that coal tender. It might not be coal. Maybe
It might be
it's-
Mr. Fusion. So he invented fusion in 1885.
Here's the thing. The American Southwest is legitimately a major source of multiple naturally radioactive materials. It's just on a gargantuan nuclear generator.
There you go. So he's inventing all this technology, which apparently he's not releasing to anybody other than...
Well, because it would fuck up the timeline.
Yeah,
He
but-
has to build this stuff to get himself out of the past where he doesn't belong
this after
to
he's-
preserve the timeline.
He's already decided that time travel is too fucking dangerous.
Right, but it's justifiable. One last trip to get him out of a time he shouldn't be in.
Really, what
Wink,
it is
wink.
is time travel is dangerous for Marty.
Yeah.
Doc is fine.
Because he can think fourth dimensionally.
Yeah, but Marty, no matter where he goes in time, he fucks shit up.
Badly, yes.
Really bad.
Like, Marty is an agent of chaos.
Yeah.
Marty's like Wally.
The robot?
Yes.
yes.
He's an agent of chaos?
Yeah, think about it. Wally just shows up and brings down society.
That's true.
Society was asking.
Oh, the thing is, he brought down a society that needed to be brought down, thank goodness. But he is just pure chaos incarnate.
But
I love him.
Fred Willard is great.
I haven't watched that movie in years. Good movie. Had a thought.
Oh no.
Do you? Did you?
So we talked about the fact that they never really do establish in any of them how the fuck Doc and Marty know each other.
Right.
I have a theory.
Oh god.
Because there's something I noticed in this movie. I don't think it was 2. I'm pretty sure it was this one. When they're in 55 Doc's house or lab or something. Because they are there briefly again. He's got a saxophone hung up.
Oh, Bill Clinton fan.
Harry Kim fan.
Yeah, well, before all
Riker
of them.
fan.
But
Oh, wait, he
that
might
means
have-
Doc might be a musician. Now, we know Doc was hard up for money after a while. There is a non-zero chance he was doing music lessons for people. And that's how him and Marty met.
That explains why he had that gigantic fucking amp in his house.
That too.
No, they met because Doc needed to befriend Marty so that he could send him back in time and give him the instructions on how to build a flux capacitor in 1955.
Oh, so it's a
Right, that goes back to what you said last week. That's a good point.
Callback.
Fuck. Fuck. That makes a lot of sense. Doc had to engineer this whole thing. Oh my god, it's all predestination. My head hurts.
Yep, this is how time travel invented
That's
itself.
actually why... Oh my god. That is why Doc doesn't look his age. Because 1955 Doc is actually the oldest Doc of all. He's the 1955 Doc is after. He's the one that built the Brown family fortune. So we know that his...
What? Hold on.
We know from this movie that Doc Brown's father...
Was Von Braun.
Von Braun immigrated in the 19...
Whatever.
But they're immigrants from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Was he literally Von Braun?
Yeah, he says that.
That's what he says.
Because when he says maybe it's a different Emmett Brown on the headstone, he's like, no, the family didn't come here until her, and then we were the Von Brauns. They changed their name during the war.
They changed their name during the war.
To avoid sounding all German and shit.
Yep.
The Browns. But here's the thing. I'm going to say that Doc Brown, that we meet in 1955, is after Doc Brown that we see on Time Train. And that he goes back to 1955 because he needs to make sure that all the shit... Doc is the nexus of space-time. He has no father. He was never born.
What?
He's never existed. Doc Brown is Marty's son.
Marty Jr. or a son we haven't met?
A son we haven't met. Maybe Marty Jr. in the future. I don't know.
No way, that little shit.
He's too short.
Doc Brown is Crispin Glover.
This is
In disguise.
This is getting stupid.
No.
All right, well, this has been Caitlin.
Okay, but I don't know if I'm going on this whole trip with you, but I really am seriously in on this crazy Doc had to engineer all of this theory thing, because Marty, he couldn't have done it without Marty bringing him the finished version. Oh boy.
I don't know. I've jumped off this train.
No, I'm into it.
I'm the opposite of Clara. No more train.
Yeah, speaking of the train,
Good.
they should have fucking burned their fucking skin off of their bodies climbing that close to a boiler that was that hot.
That's a good point.
They should have, like...
Yeah, I don't know how trains
She was
work.
holding
Oh,
on
yeah,
to
you were
steam
complaining
pipes.
about that when we watched it.
I was.
Those
I
are
didn't know that.
steam pipes?
Those are steam pipes!
Yeah, because when it breaks off, a bunch of steam comes
bunch
out.
of steam
Oh,
comes out.
no. Yeah, don't touch. Well, she was wearing gloves.
Those gloves
They were
would
very
have,
thin.
Those gloves
They were made
would
of
have
satin.
burst into flames.
Yeah,
There's
those
no
were dress
way.
gloves, not work
They are
gloves.
both treating third-degree burns.
Yeah.
Third-degree burns, they don't have hands left.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But yeah, you complained about the same thing when we watched this.
Also,
But it was a minute ago, so...
speaking of trains, again,
Mine derailed.
how, was there any report from that guy that totally demolished a DeLorean in 1985
Nope.
that was somehow on the tracks? Like, they go back there, it seems, not very long after. There's no police. There's no investigators. No one. This train probably just a passenger train, completely obliterated an automobile.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't go and check, like, oh my god, was someone in it? Like, we don't know that the driver definitely saw Marty getting out in the nick of time, and he doesn't know if there was someone else in there, even if he did see Marty get
Well,
out.
it's a damn good thing, too, because if they looked through the records, they'd have found all this futuristic technology.
Yeah.
Like-
There's a pile of plutonium for reasons.
Mhm. Yeah, well, not even plutonium. Mr. fucking Fusion.
Yeah. You know what it is?
Money from every era. Why?
Duquesne sent fake messages saying the situation had been dealt with.
Mm.
Hero Duquesne.
What I want to know is how Doc managed to manipulate it so the signal would go off right before his train.
Yeah, right?
He's got time travel. What am I saying? It's easy. Sets a timer, goes back, goes forth.
That's actually a trans-dimensional
Ah.
road gate
Okay.
on that bridge.
I mean, if the whole of Hill Valley has become a nexus in the space-time continuum thanks to Doc shenanigans, I'd buy it.
Mm.
I think Jennifer warms up to all this time travel stuff really fucking quickly. Considering she wakes up thinking it was all a dream. And she's like, okay, accepted, this is a dream. Suddenly there's a time train in front of her, and she's like, oh, I guess it was real, and everything makes sense now. And look, here's the "you're fired" sign, and it changed. And it's like, Jennifer, what is your life?
That was the first clue, was the thing fading out after Marty didn't participate in the race.
The drag race, yeah.
Does she ever tell him what she saw? We were talking about in the last one, like, did he ever tell the time, like, she saw his terrible life. And their bad marriage at the Chapel o' Love.
Maybe Needles is Biff's son. That's possible.
That would make sense. And it would, because there always has to be a counterpoint to a McFly. It could be Needles Tannen. They never say his... Actually, I think you see his full name on the screen in part 2. Fuck. Okay, he kept his mother's name.
Well, yeah, because Biff never married.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know that Griff is even a Tannen. He could just be Griff.
True.
Needles.
Jenkins. I like that idea, though. Just because, again, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
So last week I was saying I imagined, like, life would have way more sandbags in theaters and in life. Like, there would just constantly be reasons to, like, dump sandbags on people. Movies like this make me think headstones should all have random fucking details on them. And I've never seen a headstone with anything more than names and dates.
Nope, it has the details, like the specific circumstances of your death and details about your life.
Yeah.
No, you've never been to a haunted house where it's like, here lays Miss Mabel. She was crushed by a horse in the stable.
But those aren't real gravestones.
I
those
know,
are
I was just kidding.
Jeez.
These are the jokes.
Yeah.
Fucking wasted on you people. Just kidding. I love you guys.
There is a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, it's like over a matter of $80. Like, wow, we've gotten that specific that we can. That when we do the math and Marty says 75 plus 5.
That's the $80.
I figured it out.
You know, here's the thing. Here's another thing, though.
And who's this Clara?
Another little plot point.
Well, it's not unusual.
When Marty told Doc and showed him the gravestone, if I were Doc, I'd be cutting Mad Dog a check. I'd be writing a check. I'd be saying, yeah, here's 90. Here's a little extra. Buy yourself another bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, that would have maybe sold.
I am so sorry, Mr. Tannen, that I'm such a shitty blacksmith that your horse threw a shoe, but please accept this with my deepest apologies.
I love toward the end when... Is it they throw Tannen into the gravestone and it breaks or something like that? And the moment is it's this like moment of victory, like, yes, we've destroyed the true villain of the movie. Gravestone.
Okay, I think I can explain why there's way too much information on it though.
Well, it's not unusual to have someone's spouse's name.
Right, but the like biography.
Yeah, I know.
Here's why.
It's also not his. It's somebody he's known for
3 days.
3 days.
But here's the thing, right? They're already super tight, as we know. He's shot in the back. It's 1885. It probably took him a couple days to die. So while he's there, he's like, all right.
Didn't Mad Dog say something like that to somebody?
Yeah, because he shot him with the Derringer at the dance.
Yeah, it took him a couple days to... So yeah, that's probably when he's originally shot. Good point.
Yeah, Marty stopped it with a Frisbee.
Yeah. So, Doc's got a couple days to die. He's sitting there, he's dying, he's like, fuck, this sucks. Like, all right, I sent that letter to Marty. I told him not to come looking for me, but let's face it, it's Marty. There's a non-zero chance he might come back for me. Maybe if he finds my... Clara, come here! I need a lot of really specific information on my tombstone. Don't ask why.
Well, here's the other thing, too, though. So he gets shot at the dance.
Mm-hmm.
He dies 2 days later.
Yep.
So the dance was the 5th. He died on the 7th, according to the gravestone. He met Clara on the... he meets Clara on... Must be the 3rd.
I think.
Yeah, because Marty goes back and has 5 days to save Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't remember...
Does he meet her on the first day?
Because they have the interaction on... So we're assuming in the original timeline, he picked her up at the train station. They must have had more courtship in that week then, because in our timeline that we see, they meet when he rescues her from the horses. She brings him the telescope to fix. and then they meet at the dance.
Oh, yeah, no, Marty wasn't there to interfere. They were straight fucking for 3 days.
I guess so, man.
Yeah.
Doc.
Yeah,
Way
yeah.
to go.
Jules and Vern existed in that timeline, too. They were just twins.
And not the shitty kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, regarding the gravestone, I also wrote that there's this moment of dog ex machina because the dog finds the gravestone and starts whining. It's like, fuck, dogs can't read gravestones. Bad dog, Einstein.
That's Copernicus.
No, that's Copernicus, yes. Fuck you, Copernicus.
You can smell Doc in there, though.
Having rotted for 70 years?
He's even more pungent.
Bad dog.
Yeah, Einstein manages to survive all 3 films, doesn't he?
Good dog. Einstein's the good dog.
He's even on the train at the end.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, we get lots of clock tower action in all 3 films. I love that they brought it all the way back around to the creation of the clock tower.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was very cute.
Oh, a small detail I enjoyed in 2 was that not only was the clock tower still broken and you even had like the guy collecting money for it still after 30 years, they hadn't even fixed the ledge that Doc Brown breaks
Nice.
when he's up there in 1955.
Well, because that's part of the damage they're trying to preserve.
Yeah, they gotta preserve the.
Though people are very confused as to how a lightning strike caused that.
Yes.
Fun little tidbit. Doc's mask that he wears is made of the shirt from 2.
The mask that he wears when he's holding up the train? Ah.
Yeah, it's meant to be torn away from the, 2015 train shirt he was wearing.
Oh, because it was a train shirt, because they knew there was going to be a train already. Because they were already in the middle of filming the movie.
But yeah, if you look close, you can see it's very faded and dirty now, but it's the same. So the implication is he just tore it out of that shirt he owned. Although I don't think it was still wearing in 1955. I guess it was just still in his luggage with all the fake money.
I think possibly the stupidest thing in at least this movie, possibly all 3, is the wake-up juice that they concoct for Doc to wake him up after he had literally 1 sip of beverage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just very dumb.
I have to look it up. Someone actually did make that for a video, and yeah, it tastes about as bad as you'd think. But he's like,
It's a whole bottle of Tabasco.
Yeah.
Was it Greg?
Yes.
Of course it was.
Yep. Greg from How to Drink.
Sure. You guys like name dropping, and I don't get any of them.
I couldn't remember the channel name. It wasn't meant to be like an in-joke.
I think other people have done it too, but he's the only one I've personally seen. Good on Western Union for holding on to that letter all that time.
Right?
Yeah, good for them.
Probably the most unrealistic thing in all these films. So yeah, we'll hold on to this letter for 75 years and deliver it to this very specific place and time. Why not?
All right, here's my last note. I love how all 3 movie posters go so well together.
Oh yeah, that's really great. Marketing.
Such a nice touch. The first movie is McFly with Carr doing the head-on-hand thing. Hand-on-head thing. And then the second one, they add Christopher Lloyd to it. And the last one, they add Mary Steenburgen into it. And they're all adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Marty got back, if Doc gave Marty back the hoverboard. Yeah.
Nah, he'd already cannibalized it for parts for the time train.
That's how the train hovers. It's on the hoverboard.
Yeah, that sucks, because that's the best thing. I love that thing. Even today, I have zero interest in skateboarding, ever.
The one time I tried, I fell flat on my back.
Yeah, I would never skateboard, but I could. If I had access to a hoverboard, I'd never touch the ground. Never.
It would make bringing luggage places a lot easier.
Oh yeah, because it hovers and it supports the weight of an adult man.
Yeah.
Mind you, 5'4", but still.
It supported the weight of Doc Brown and Clara.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, 2 adults
Yeah.
can fly around on this thing.
Fucking.
This is like the
No, it's
friggin'.
pronounced flying, Ames. Flying.
It's like the hover thing from TNG.
Mm-hmm.
The little hover cart that's always broken down.
I don't remember what thing you're talking
There's a
about.
hover cart that
Sure.
they use to like move stuff around.
Oh.
There's some.
Doesn't Jordy break it or something stupid?
Well, something. They drop a canister and some shit escapes from it, and it infects the ship.
Zap Brannigan broke that other one by putting too many pillows on it in the high gravity planet.
There's also the way that didn't they get rid of Nomad with some anti-gravity.
Yeah, they clamped some anti-grav things onto him to bring him to the transporter before he exploded.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it.
Yeah, we have done the Back to the Future trilogy.
Where we're going now has no roads, because I don't think we have a plan for next week.
Well,
so Chris, insert here what the fuck we're doing next week, because my hope throughout all of Voyager was for To the Journey to come out by the time we got to the end of Voyager, but they're still working on it. So one day when it's out, we'll cover it, but not now.
We talked about doing the Denise Crosby movie.
Yeah, is that Trekkers?
Yeah.
So we might do Trekkers next week.
Or we might discuss Back to the Future, the cartoon. No, I'm kidding. That is trash. It is such bad. It's so bad.
I didn't even know that existed.
Oh, it was terrible.
Like Power Glove bad, or...
No, just awful.
Oh.
I loved it as a child because I was young and stupid. And then they started showing it again on TV when I was a teenager. And I was like, oh man, I remember this. It's like, oh, it's awful. Doc has completely unlearned the lesson about time travel being dangerous. Like, I'm not just going to travel through time. I'm going to go out of my way to change shit. I'm an idiot.
Andy sounds like Richard Nixon.
Yes. Yeah, so...
It actually sounds like Homer Simpson.
The whole plot of Quantum Leap, isn't it?
Was he? Isn't he supposed to preserve the... I haven't seen it.
No, in Quantum Leap, he sets right what once went wrong.
Right.
He literally is fixing things.
True.
Changing time.
Like a time cop.
Insert
like
a
Kane.
clever Scott Bakula. We're almost to Enterprise reference here.
There it is. Yeah, so coin flip next week if we do Trekkers. So if you're interested in Trekkers, stick around. Maybe we'll do that.
And if not, still stick around. Maybe we'll be fun about it.
Yeah, maybe we'll finally do Time and Again. Is that the name
Time
of
After
it?
Time.
Time After Time. God
Time after time.
maybe I'll take the week off and let these fuckers finally do something stupid. They can do the Who Framed Roger Rabbit for no reason.
Oh, let's do Tron. Just the good one, though.
All the Trons. So come back next week. We'll have figured it out, and Chris will have cut all this and entered what we're actually doing. Thank you,
Will
Chris. You definitely already have.
Fuck.
You know who should have done this?
God damn it.
The signature song for the second film?
Son of a bitch.
Cyndi Lauper.
Ooh.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah, very 80s.
Why?
Right. I don't know, but she's great.
What does she do?
She does
She's
music.
great
What's
music.
appropriate?
I don't know, she'd do something. She did the Goonies.
Yeah.
She's great.
She is great.
Very much like just the epitome of like an 80s kind of pop star.
Like the Cafe 80s. She could have been like,
She
instead
could have
of
been-
Ronald Reagan,
yeah.
she could have been the waitress.
Could have been playing herself.
Yeah, as like Cyndi Lauper, Max Headroom style. That would have been hilarious.
That would be great.
I didn't need the Ayatollah joke. That was stupid.
That hasn't aged well.
No.
Even as a kid, I was like, I don't quite get what the hell's happening here. Sorry, you were who?
I was Ames.
Caitlin.
Jake.
And Chris. Yeah, most of this will probably get cut, maybe.
Cut as much of it as you can.
Eat shit!
Keep that.